यम यम लोकम मनसा संविभाति विशुद्ध सत्वः कामयते यांश्च कामान् तं तं लोकं जयते तांश्च कामान् तस्मादात्मज्ञं ह्यर्चयेद्भूतिकामः यं यं लोकं मनसा संविभाति विशुद्धसत्त्वः कामयते यांश्च कामान् तं तं लोकं जयते तांश्च कामान् तस्मादात्मज्ञं ह्यर्चयेद्भूतिकामः यं यं lokam, whatever world, generalize, whatever world, a well purified being vishuddha sattva, a well purified being samvibhati, wishes for tam tam, those objects, for whatever objects of desire, kamayate kaman. Kamayate means desire, kaman means objects. Whatever objects of desire means whatever object he desires, he attains that world and those objects. Tam tam lokan jayate, he will win it. There's no doubt about it. That's assurance with his speak. This is a declaration. It's like there's no reversal to this statement. Whatever world a well purified, I'm just trying to read the Sanskrit words which give you a deeper meaning. Whatever world a well purified being, a purified mind wishes for, and whatever object he desires, he attains that world and those objects. Tasmat. Therefore, my dear, who a desirer of prosperity. So he's talking to the desirer of prosperity. Bhutikamaha. Oh, Bhutikamaha, the desire of prosperity, should indeed emulate the knowledge of the self. Atmajnanam Herchayet. Herchayet should worship. Archayet. That desirer of prosperity, desirer, that person should indeed emulate or worship the knowledge of the self. Atmajnanam. Whatever world a well purified being wishes for and whatever object he desires, he attains that world. Now, before I explain this, it is important we understand the thumb rule. The thumb rule with reference to at least objectively understand. Subjectively, we'll get there one day. Because you need wisdom to practice this. And we all have it in bits and pieces. So when you implement it, you see it works. So what is the thumb rule? The thumb rule, if you understand this, that's what the mantra is saying. The thumb rule is the life of an extroverted person What is the life of an extroverted? He runs after his desires, chasing his objects of desires or desire. I'm generalizing anything that you are running behind. The result is the object eludes you. Means runs away from you, as it were. Result is the desire is unfulfilled, which causes mental agitations, which cloud your intellectual clarity. This is the thumb rule, the principle I'm putting it. You apply it at every level from zero desire to 100% desires. So an extrovert person keeps running after his desires and wants to acquire his object of desire. And his desire can be money, desire can be power, his desire can be name, his desire can be even to acquire something in the world. His desire can be even to serve the world. That also is extroverted. Because it is a desire. The more harder he tries, the further it runs away. Now, this is the principle, thumb rule of an extrovert person. Now, what is the, I'm explaining this because then once you understand this, the mantra becomes easier to understand. The thumb rule for an introverted person, he rises above the desires and objects of desire, as a result of which the objects of desire seek him. Means comes to him. You can take the reference of the mention of Kamadhenu in the Gita, chapter 3, verse 10. Now, what is the the practical part of it? Because of not seeking the desire, he exhausts desires. Your mind is always calm. Your intellect remains sharp. And you achieve whatever you aspire for. So the extroverted person runs after his desires, chasing his objects of desire. And as you keep doing so, the object of desire constantly eludes you. Means you're trying to get it, but the law of life is whatever you run behind, it runs away from you. Whatever you crave for, you may crave love, you may crave respect. Like these celebrities, they want to become popular, they want to be in the limelight, they work hard to get that. And the moment they get it, they run away from the paparazzi. They run away from these shutters. Because wherever they go, they want to go to a salon, there are people waiting outside. They want to go with their family for a meal, they are behind them. So they get, it causes agitation because desire isn't. Exactly contrary, introverted rise above the objects of desire. The object of desire seeks you. Since you're not seeking the object of desire, or the desire is not fed, the desire drops off. The mala, the impurities go. So your mind is always calm because there is no unfulfilled desire. Because as you know, how do we define Amitama? Welcome back. Can you tell me how do we define agitation?
Hari Om Guruji.
How do you define agitation?
Lack of mental peace.
Don't say my permanent state. I'm sorry.
Lack of agitation is as few desires as possible, having no desires.
Nah, how can you say agitation is few desires?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, what's the definition of agitation?
Definition.
It's obviously mental agitation. It's a mental state. Agitation is mental. No need to qualify, but I'm just qualifying. How do you define the mental agitation? What is it synonymous to?
Unfulfilled desires.
That's all. That's all I want. What causes mental agitation? What is mental agitation is nothing but unfulfilled desires. That's all. This is the thumb rule. You get this, you got the bull by the horns, not by its tail. You got to get it under control. Entire spiritual journey is with reference to the desires, nothing else. The way you are dealing with your desires is what the entire spiritual journey is. Right? So the mantra starts by saying, whatever world a well purified being wishes for, and whatever object he desires, he attains that world and those objects of desire. Those objects. This is the opening statement of the mantra. Now, with the understanding of the theorem of an introverted life vis-a-vis an extroverted life, a well purified mind, Vishuddha Sattva, as you understand, even definition of Sattva is where the mind is purified, free of desires. So, a well established mind means a person who's highly sattvic, means a highly evolved person. Whatever he wishes for, a mere wish here refers to a sankalpa, which is not compared to a kamaha. Even though the verse uses the word bhutikamaha, which he says as desirer of prosperity, but whatever, a mere sankalpa, a mere thought is enough for him. There is no desire in a sattvic man. There is no desire. There is no strength of desire. What is there? Sometimes, perhaps, if there is a passing sankalpa or a thought in him, that gets fulfilled by merely entertaining that thought. Opposed to a person who wants to get the object of desire, he keeps pitching it up as as a purpose of his life, and he keeps chasing it. I want power, I want name, I want wealth, I want recognition, I want whatever, I want all the time, chasing. But that comes to him just a mere sankalpa. This you may be able to relate to, but the real beauty of the philosophy is in the second half of the verse, second half of the mantra. Tam tam lokam jayate tamscha kaman. Tasmadatmagyam herchayed bhuti kamaha. Tasmat, therefore, atmajnanam herchayed bhuti kamaha. Therefore, the desirer of prosperity, the bhuti kamaha, should do atmajnana. Are? If you fellow, you want prosperity in the world, what should you do? Atmajnana. Somebody comes to you for business proposition, Ramji, you say, please attend Mundaka class. I am here to expand my business. I want to acquire the world. I want to create name. I want to do this. Please attend the Bhagavad Gita classes. Please acquire wisdom. Atmajnanam. You emulate the knower of the self. A desire of prosperity should indeed emulate the knower of the self. Means you must try to attain the knowledge of the self. For what? If you want the prosperity in the world. What is he trying to say here, Ramji? Outstanding.
So this is the reverse logic he is using. Basically saying that if you want to fulfill your desires, you first should get Atmajnanam. It is actually a bit anti-intuitive that we keep saying that if you drop all the desires, you can get Atmajnanam. But here he is saying that if you want to fulfill your desire of prosperity, you gain Atmajnanam first.
The interesting thing is, a fellow who seriously gains Atmajnanam, will he be interested in the Bhutikama?
He won't be.
But then what's the logic here?
That means you will automatically drop that Bhutikama As you are going deeper into exploring Atma Jnana, automatically this
But
will drop.
how can you convince a person who comes to you with Bhutikama? Huh? How can you tell him gain Atma Jnanam? No, sir, he is talking the principle here. He's
Yeah.
talking of the principle. You may take it literally Atma Jnanam, but what is he trying to convey here? No, I know we are familiar with the idea, but it is not intellectual excitement, please. I'm not getting excited by the text. I'm just awed by the clarity with which these great men speak. Sad we don't have the eyes to see. We don't know how to live that path of wisdom. The whole world can abide by these rules, but we are not able to see it. Hmm. You get what I'm asking, Ramji?
Yeah.
And this is, in fact, it is not contrary to what thumb rule we have already said. What's the thumb rule we said for introverted person?
He will, he rises above desires and objects of desire, and then the desires will come to him automatically. Okay. So he will have an exhausted desires in his mind, and so that's why it is calm and is intellectually sharp. So that status, if you have to reach, we are saying that he has to drop all the desires or rise above desires.
You
But
can't drop, sir.
uh,
If you noted, I don't know whether you're there for the last couple of sessions. We
no.
said that you cannot drop the desire. We cannot drop anything. All we can do is pick up something higher. That's all we can do.
Correct. Then the lower
We
ones will
cannot drop.
automatically drop. Yeah, that's true.
So when he comes, and so when what he's telling to any one of us who is desirer of prosperity, he's advising us, look beyond the desire. That's all. The moment you seek something higher, the lower comes to you. Yeah, I don't know how to prove you all with this. How can I convince you all logically? I can't even logically explain. How can I say you go for something higher, the lower comes to you? How can I explain to you? It happens. So in fact, even in the Bible, the very famous quote, and I will write it down so that we understand the entire quote in its the quote in its entirety. In the Bible, it is said, knock. I don't know it is the actual words, but this is the spirit. So the quote says, knock and it shall be opened unto you. Seek and it shall be given to you. This is exactly what Tasmadatmajnam herchayed bhutikamaha. So where is the Bible and where is Mundaka Upanishad? Both are saying the same thing. Obviously, they are speaking in their contemporary thought and language. Now, can anybody explain this? Knock, it shall be opened unto you. Seek, and it shall be given to you. Knock where? That's the point. Where do I knock? What do I seek? That's the question. But what he is saying is, you knock at the kingdom of heaven, you knock at the doors of heaven, everything will be opened. What will be opened? Not only the doors of heaven, all the world will be open to you. You can't knock at the doors of the world. You knock at the doors of the world, nothing will come to you. You seek the self, and it shall be given to you. What shall be given to you? All bhutikamaha, all the objects of the world, everything will come to you. That is the meaning here, which is what is exactly which is being said. So the thumb rule, again, he is saying here, the thought or the desire materializes. Whatever desire you have, whatever thought you have, it materializes. The secret, the thumb rule is, you must think of something higher beyond that desire. So, how to apply this principle? If you want wealth for yourself, how do you make wealth for yourself? If you seek prosperity for yourself, you must be interested in the prosperity for your company. If I want wealth for myself, I must genuinely work for the welfare of my company. I'm just an employee in the company. Company is not mine. When I give my life on to that, knock at the doors of my organization, I dedicate myself, I sacrifice myself, I become oblivious in the presence of the organization, I serve the organization, then prosperity will come to me. Then my desires will get fulfilled. Ah, okay. You want prosperity for your company? You work for the industry, the larger good of the industry. It could be mechanical engineering, it could be automobile, it could be some business that you're trying to work. If you do something to benefit the entire industry, I'm trying to revive the technology in the industry, not just technology for my company, not just for my products. I want to revolutionize the whole industry is benefited, globally it's benefited. So when I'm working for the industry, my company gets benefited. So you want desire for yourself, you serve the company. You want your company to be benefited, you serve the industry. You want your community to be benefited, you serve something higher. You want your country to be benefited, serve humanity. You want entire humanity to be benefited, serve Atman. So at any level you want to be benefited, drop the desire, think of something higher. The problem is, the difficulty is to drop that desire when you have the desire and entertain something higher. That is the challenge. It is not that easy, because the desire, the desire is like an octopus. It just, all the various limbs of the octopus comes and consume you. You become completely enmeshed by it. You can't get yourself out of it. But if you would desire welfare for the family and you worship the family, it will not come. If you desire welfare of your community and you worship the community, it will not come. You want welfare of your company and you worship the company, it will not come. Think of something higher. Think of something higher. At every level, raise the bar, raise the bar, raise the bar. That's when it comes to you. Mysteriously, it comes to you. They speak it in no clearer words than this. Fascinating, fabulous. Therefore, a desire of prosperity should indeed emulate the knowledge of the self. Only it means is think of something higher than that. Yes, Setuji, you wanted to say something, sir?
Just wanted to share that this Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, when he was established, right, see, his sankalpa only gave moksha to animal, Lakshmi, cow, and it gave to a bird, and to a couple of his followers who were in the last stage. His grace gave them moksha. So how it is written. So that was he sought higher, something for the others. He was established anything because he wished it happened, but he wished very little to only because once you are established, you don't have any wishes of very few sankalpas you will have, and all that whatever you feel like it happens. But he didn't wish for himself because he had rheumatism, but he went through it.
That's the interesting thing. You want something, he says, think something above it. Then if you want anything, it'll happen to you. Why would a person want anything after understanding the futility in it? Even there's a passing entertainment of a thought, it happens. So you don't have, so the only thing we need to learn, understand here is try not to act on your desire. Don't act on desires. That is the key. How not to act on desires? It's easy said. But how not to act on desires? When I'm full of desires, how can I not act on it? At a relative level, how can you practice this? How not to act? The only way you cannot act on it, you will not be acting on desire, is by acting on your karyam karma. Every point of the time, every time you act, you must ask, is it my obligatory duty? Am I doing something which is obligated, which brings in the role of the intellect? It is the active participation of the intellect to adopt an action with obligation. And what determines what your obligations are? SR?
Little complex, Guruji. Is the one we're talking about. Don't act on desires and how to practice it. And the obligations are endless. Desires, needs are endless.
Desires and your needs are endless. Desires belong to which part of your personality?
It's of course it's where apply the brake by intellect. That's what.
Correct. You engage it with the intellect, but desires belong to, where do desires reside?
Is your thoughts.
Where do they reside? Where do they germinate?
From mind.
From the mind. So the desires are from the mind. So when I am chasing my desires, means I'm operating on the mind.
Yes.
And mind is equivalent to Ravana. Understand that. Mind is Ravana. There is no end to what your mind wants, which Ravana wanted Sita, and he ran behind it. Remember that. If one is acting on the mind, it means that your mind has no taboo to what it asks for, and then you're running behind whatever your mind asks. There is no rhyme or reason why your mind wants it. Something can fascinate it and it runs behind it. Now, how not to act? The question is how not to act on desire. How not to act is operate on intellect with adopting action to obligation. Is just these 4 words. Adapt, in fact, adopt action to obligation will answer the question. What principle should I adopt to action? Action must only be driven on obligation. Is it my duty to do so? When I do that, what happens? The intellect is constantly coming and putting a barrier to the mind. Your mind may want to do many things.
It's like something injecting the counter energy. So
it is.
So it stops like Guruji, yesterday in the Times of India, sorry to take a few seconds time. So Times of India, yesterday's Economic Times, not Times of India. They have additional papers, as a glossy, very beautiful print of the best of the watches in the world. If you see that, is about 4 pages. Each watch is amazing with its own way, and you see that you get tempted to see that you need any one of them to be with us. But you go through that one wrong, and I have the review again, it is second. Then you start getting into the mind. That's what my personal feeling. I said, at the end of the day, you need to know the time. Whether I spend 10 lakhs watch, whether I spend 10,000 watch, one are the same. Unless we want to show up to the world saying that I have the most valued watch. So the moment that thought has started getting into that, the paper has been dropped aside. Not to think about whatever may be the best watches in the world.
One step ahead is don't subscribe for Economic Times.
I withdrew all. I just subscribed.
Drop. No, don't. Why to invite the paper and then see and then drop it. Drop it. I can get what you're getting at. So when you say adopt action to obligation, what determines what your obligation is? If you don't answer that, the answer is incomplete. Adopt action to obligation, but what is it that determines your obligation? Ritigaru, hold on, huh? Don't mute yourself. Haresh.
Yes.
Haresh, answer. What is it that adopts action to obligation?
Guruji, you're not going to believe this, but I was actually going to ask you this very same question. It has been on my mind for the last 5 minutes.
You're applying a nice reverse psychology, huh?
No, this is true. This was actually my question to Guruji. You went one step ahead of me.
thanks for the compliment, but this is nice reverse psychology.
No, it's not reverse psychology. It's genuinely my question. I was actually
No, I
wanting to
know.
define it in the world when we are interacting with the world on a daily basis. We are made to believe we have obligations in 100 areas, but at what point do we know where it is really an obligation or somebody else's desire or a need that defines it as an obligation? This is a very pertinent question, actually, which I'm also struggling to identify.
Okay. I hope there's no more reverse psychology. Anybody has an answer? What is it? I know Ashama has an answer. बोले आशामा, your answer is correct. आपने मुझे भेजा है ना?
The only thing I can think of is that you have to keep your goal focused. So whatever action you take up, whether it is taking you one step further towards your goal, so that would be obligatory.
Correct. Absolutely right. This is what I wanted to hear from you. Very good, Ma. Now, to put it in simple terms, we say mind operates on desires, intellect operates with a goal. And understood, we always qualify desires as selfish, goal as unselfish. So when you say adopt action to obligation, means your actions are they taking towards the chosen goal? And it has to be unselfish. The only way you will checkmate the selfish mind is by making your purpose unselfish. Unless and until the purpose is very clear. So the goal here, Reddy Garu, is it has to be unselfish. You can't be saying, oh, I am trying to expand my business so that I can buy luxury watches, a luxury lifestyle I can live. That is not the, again, you're only chasing your desires.
It's true, Guruji, but the goal can be ambitious. There is nothing wrong.
For whom? For whom?
For the good common cause or the greater
good
cause.
Common cause. What is good common cause? What is your definition of good common cause?
See, let's put it across as a way, Guruji. So let's say that desire is there to improve the business. Improving the business doesn't mean that you have to. For the people, it is not only the self. We also grow along with the people. It is not only the we are growing in that. Like I've been engaging about 100 people, maybe engaging maybe 200 people will give a social cause of an employment and upliftment of the people. So if I can look at that as a goal, not with the intention to develop the business to make the more profitable and more the money and the more luxurious products.
Right.
So the goal can be audacious.
Yes, but as long as that is clear, whatever is my goal, which is to serve, my goal is, let's say, I would like to have an institution which will support 500 families or 1,000 families or 10,000 families. Why 100? 10,000 you can conceive. That's a goal. So if the business has to expand to accommodate that, that is my goal.
Yep.
So whatever is needed to get to that goal, I will do it.
That's right.
Not just to feed into and fan my desires which are latent. But if I have an organization of an employee of 1,000 people, which means I will have a business turnover of, let's say, 5,000 crores. That means I will be in the stock market. That means I will be in this club. I will have this access. I will have this connections. I will be able to achieve this. I will get this. I will get it. No, is the I, I'm not saying about you, sir, at all.
I
but
understood.
Is the focus on myself, my power, my needs, my desires, my acquisitions, so that genuine desire to raise the organization bar so that it serves that cause is only to annihilate or kill your selfish desires and ego. But if the selfish desire creeps in, if the mind's desires come in to satisfy something, finished, out.
That's
It spoils it all. The only way you can checkmate the mind's desire is by asking for. Then how do you know what are you working for? By asking, for what am I working? I'm expanding, I'm running day in and day out. For what am I doing it? That is the goal. The goal is the simple way of identifying your goal is, for what am I doing? Keep questioning that. Keep questioning. Even when you say, I want to get 200 people or 500 people employee, is when that happens, obviously there will be turnover, there'll be revenue, there'll be profits. For what? Whose profits? At the end of the day, who is being benefited? I may be, SR is a part of that 500 group, but is it done only for SR's benefit? It's genuinely, when I keep questioning, I know whether how much of the individual self is there in it, how much of the goal is there in it. And through this constant questioning, for what am I doing? For what am I doing? For what am I doing? You will be able to ascertain clearly what is your goal. And then you will not do anything to merely give in to the mind's desires. You will do anything and everything to achieve that goal.
true.
And if your goal necessitates, whatever necessitates, you do it. That's all. But if there is no goal, then the intellect can't function.
We need to have a goal.
I'll tell you, sir. You know, there was a time where I was involved in organizing. I'm talking in Malaysia. There was through some reference, we got in touch with one of the ministers in the Prime Minister's department, and he was helping organize some programs for Swamiji's visit. For a few years it happened, and one time to make that happen, I had to go for a dinner meeting. A dinner meeting where obviously I couldn't have gone in my dhoti kurta. They would throw me out from there. We're all a Muslim country, and I can't go to in fact, in that meeting, we were sitting next to the Prime Minister's table. Believe me or not, we were a few feet away from the Prime Minister's table. I don't know, that meeting happened in the Berjaya Times Square, and the invitation was by, who is that Berjaya owner? Berjaya Group? I can't recall that fellow's name. Dato or Tanshri.
Sorry, Guruji, I can't remember the name.
Anyway, Usha, US, you know, ma?
Yeah, Vincent Tan.
Yes, Vincent Tan and his son. Yes, remember Vincent Tan. So sitting, this man is one of the richest men in Malaysia, one of the richest in the world, right? One of the top fellows. And we were sitting, and in fact, Ushama, I was going with Tanshri Mahadevan. So Tanshri Mahadevan was invited, and he said, you please come, I'll connect you to the people so that that event will happen and whatnot. For that, I had to wear a suit. And the only suit, I never had a suit. So the word spread that I need to get a suit to go for that meeting. Not believe. Next day, there was a arrangement made for a suit. Now you ask me, that was the only evening I wore that suit. And after that, it's being hanging in the cupboard because I didn't find a need to wear the suit. Now you ask me, and the suit, I told you the brand when we went SR in Malaysia. I told you, no? Did I
Yes,
share this
correct.
experience with you?
Yes, correct.
Apparently, when I saw that brand, I remember I sharing with him. The brand name was Hugo Boss.
Go boss.
Hugo Boss brand. I remember going in. Only once I entered that showroom in my life, and last time I entered. So a person who was that main man in that, he said it all taken care of. Now, is it what I desire or what my goal was to organize an event for my guru? He is coming and this is needed, and somebody is saying, I'll put you to the right people, and if I have to be there, whatever is needed for my goal, I will get it done. Nothing, no compromise. And that evening, everybody on that table were looking at me strangely. Who is this Indian fellow amongst these top tycoons? All are Chinese, and if at all any fellow is there, they would know him. And he's an unknown stranger fellow with this man. Ayo, I tell you what, all it was so Amitama, it was most uncomfortable moment for me. Believe me or not, so uncomfortable I was with all these people, all the celebrities, all the who's who of the country were there. In fact, it was Vincent Tan's son's marriage something, So he got the invite, and I was there. It's gone. But what matters to you is adopt action to obligation, whatever is needed to do. And later on, I remember one of the visits, the minister wanted Swamiji to attend a dinner function during his visit there. And that man, PA of his, who was coordinating with it, he said, sir, if Swamiji and you all have to come, you all have to wear that black tie, bow tie. I went up to Swamiji and said, Swamiji, if we have to go that evening for the minister, we all have to wear bow tie. All of us will go shopping for suits and bow tie. We passed it. We didn't go. We didn't say we're interested in coming. Now look at it. So what is the objective? Where do you draw the line? Is it needed or not? See, this is where it is, So you don't leave any stone unturned to get to your goal, but whatever you need to do to get to the goal, you only do that. And also, when there is a goal, you also know what you don't need to do, because it's not going to take you to the goal. That clarity of path comes in, like a GPS. The goal becomes like a GPS to you. You know the roads that take me there, the roads will not take me there. This clarity doesn't appear when you operate on the mind. You don't get fascinated by the world to a large extent. You will not be, the kind of withdrawal will be there. And this only gets intensified as the sadhana gets more and more deeper. When you get more and more established, you actually start intensifying it.
Amazing, Guru. Amazing clarity.
Right, sir. Harish, you wanted to clarify something earlier?
No, Guruji, already clarified. Thank you, Guruji.
All right. Hariji?
Yeah, I wanted to say that a spiritual seeker, his mind is purified, or he is trying to purify his mind, and hence the mental agitation will be less. So a spiritual seeker, in that way, he will not be losing his energy on unwanted things. He will be able to put in his best effort, be it for the material, in the material world or in the spiritual world. He will be able to give the best. Even if in the office, a little bit of a man who has got a spiritual background, he will be able to put the best effort compared to all others. And that is the reason why nowadays, even in the the high management courses and all, even in Harvard and other places, they are trying to teach directly or indirectly Bhagavad Gita, to see that they will be able to put in the best effort without wasting their energy. So I feel a spiritual seeker, he wins the world as well as the higher.
Correct. Hariji is talking from how a practical corporate man would perhaps look at it, but this is a different league altogether, different level altogether. So a purified mind can get anything it wants before it gets to self-realization. After whatever, because it aspires for the highest, for self-realization, anything it wants, it can get, it gets. And in the introverted concept, when I said, I gave a reference to Kamadhenu in the 3rd chapter. The context is, he says, Sahayajna prajashuštva purovacha prajapati anena prasavishyadhyam eshavo stvishtva kamadhuk. He says, when the Creator created humanity, he created us with the capacity to perform yajna, which is sacrifice. And one who lives a life of yajna or sacrifice, he gains the Kamadhenu. Kamadhenu is what is Kamadhenu? Gayatri Ma, what is Kamadhenu?
It's a wish, whatever wishes we ask for it, it gives, like.
It's a fulfiller of all wishes. So you gain perpetually, correct? There is no end to anything that you want, you get. So the perpetual fulfiller of all your desires. How do you get Kamadhenu in your life? Only when you live a life of yajna. Yajna is unselfish. So to a person who's chasing desires, you tell him, work for something higher, man. Not only will you evolve, not only will you become purer, not only you get the higher, you'll also get the lower. You get both. But by running behind the desire, you will not get the lower, you will not reach higher. So you lose both, here you gain both. That sense. And all of us can practice this at some level. Right up to that point of self-realization, we can practice it. So if there is any thought that is bothering you, if any thought that is obsessing you, all you need to do is, if you can start injecting the futility in it and start entertaining something higher. Somehow, if you can entertain something higher, automatically that which you want materializes. So what you must drop is, drop the anxiety for anything. Sit calm without any anxiety. Many times people come and keep telling me many things. I keep saying, It will happen with time. What is the anxiety? Have I not told you, Gayatri Ma? You've not heard from me?
Yes, Guruji, many times it will happen on its own, like, the course of time.
It will happen on its own. Me frothing and fuming or asking and wanting and knocking at doors, it will not open. It will not happen. So let it happen. Let me do what I have to do. Yes, Arunama.
Now, Guruji, I just wanted a small clarification. I was thinking with regard to goals and attachments. A mother, when she works for the needs of her family, how do you differentiate whether it is attachment to the family or whether she's working for something higher, a goal?
I wouldn't want to generalize. How can you generalize? If you say a mother is working for the welfare of the family.
Yeah, that means, her interest is confined only to the family's needs. It's
Okay.
not something going higher beyond the family.
Then the mother or the lady is attached to the family. That's all.
But
There's no higher interest.
But then is she not sacrificing her needs for the welfare of the children, putting them in the right track? Is that not unselfish?
Yeah, but only to the extent of your family, your home. Remember, your home should be the center, not the boundary of your love. Oh yeah, I've become unselfish, but I've risen the boundary from myself. I've raised the bar from myself to the family. But what have I done? Once I reach the level of the family, I've drawn a boundary. Nah, the home teaches you to inculcate that spirit of service and sacrifice. But home should be the center, not the boundary of your sacrificial abilities. So in answer to your question, if a lady is involved only with reference to the family's interest, myself, my child, my family, my children, my grandchildren, if that's all I'm working for, attached to the family, that's all. You want welfare to your family, you must think of the larger family, which involves siblings, their children, their grandchildren, which can be a larger umbrella of 100 people in the family. Genuinely think of that 100 people, then this pocket family of 4 people are taken care of. But if I'm only thinking of 4 people, it might do little good to you because you're sacrificing for the family. But the family will not be protected because that will suffer. You want your family to flourish, think of the larger family. You want a larger family to do well, think of the community. You want your community to do well, think of the society at large. You want the society at large to benefit, think of the country at large. You want the country to be benefited, think of humanity. See, I don't know whether it is truly envisioned. Ramji, have you not heard Prime Minister Modi saying this in a lot of their meetings and programs? So there's this tagline. I'm not able to get the tagline. Anybody can say the tagline?
Is Vasudhaika Kutumbam.
Vasudhaika Kutumbam. What does it mean?
Means the whole world is one family.
What he is doing is exactly practicing this. What he wants to do is wants India to benefit at large. My country of 1 billion people should flourish, should prosper, to do well. And how can I do that? Is by saying we are all one world, one family. So by serving the humanity, his country is being benefited. But you want to only serve the country and think of your country only, your country will not prosper. Think of humanity. Think of the world. The whole world will converge to that country who is embracing the whole world, which is happening. It is happening at a grand level if you are able to envision that visionary. He's a visionary. He's a karma yogi. Spirit of yajna and sacrifice. That's what he's doing. So whenever I hear this, I'm reminded of this mantra. And anybody who conceives this, he's thinking of something higher. Then only the lower gets benefit. So you want the family to benefit, think of the society. Not just in a community where there are 500 families. I can either think of my own self or I can think of my own family, which is one home in that 500 families, 500 homes. If you start thinking of every member of that 500 families, how can I think, what can I do for the welfare of this community, which is 500 families? Automatically your family, which is also protected, isn't it?
Yes, Guruji.
But one must envision that. But if you only think of your own family, that family causes a lot of, due to attachment, it causes misery, it causes fear, it causes pain, it causes agony, it causes a lot of unrest. Think of the 500 families as your family. Your family worry is no more worry for you because you have a bigger worry of 500 families. And if you are in trouble, all the 500 families will come running to help you because you are genuinely doing for them. But if you are not thinking of the 500 families, when you are in trouble, nobody will come to you. Only your family will come to you. Look at how it works. It works miraculously well. And I'm not being personal at all here. I'm only answering the question when you say.
Got it, Guruji. Yeah.
So that's what it is, to keep raising the goal. Keep raising the goal. The ultimate goal is whatever I do, I want to gain. And Shivaji, even when somebody blesses you, Arogya, Aishwarya illa, Mokshada varno, the Varte da solno, Aishwarya vanda, onnu vanda. Keep your Aishwarya with you. எனக்கு மோட்சா வேணும் அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லுங்க சார். யார் சொன்னா? சரியா?
Yeah. When we are talking about this, I even mentioned from the Bhajagovindam, Atmagyana Vihina Modaha. That line came to me. That's the only thing. Ultimately, there's nothing else. If you don't look at it, you're going to suffer.
Correct.
So beautifully, it just came on and I got those lines, and amazing. So repeatedly it comes in different these things. Ultimately, it's only that Atmagyana which can give you whatever you want. Kasya Sukham na karoti vairagya. What it cannot give. Vairagya can give everything.
Correct. The truth is so beautifully reiterated everywhere you see it. Amazing. Right, Ji. Thank you. Fascinating mantra, fascinating principles. We have to intensify the sadhana, that's all. Just intensify it. This cannot go wrong. These principles cannot go wrong. Whoever that lady is, Raghu Garu, she is doomed. Matter of time, doomed, that's all. Atma Hanaha, they are called self-suicidal actions, all these things. Any selfish action is suicidal actions. And so true. Your house is safe when the colony is safe. Your colony is safe when the city is safe. Your city is safe when the country is safe. Your country is safe when the world is safe. Otherwise, the neighboring country will bomb your country. Then what about your home? When country is bombed, what about your home? What's happening? Countries are at war. And the whole thing is in disarray. So, reminder for tomorrow's class question. Enna Gayatrima?
Tomorrow?
We have given a question, isn't it, for tomorrow's satsang? Last Sunday we gave. What's the question? Irka? Ready reference, Irka? In the context of this, what is the LCM we can practice?
Or what is the LCM one can practice to counter the animosity to the world?
What is the LCM? one can practice to counter the animosity that you engender to the world. For those who want the context, please refer to the previous week's Sunday class. You'll get the context. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.